So the game just changed with image generation since OpenAI dropped their new image generation model just last week. And what makes it so different is that unlike other models that mess up text during generations, this one keeps your text clean and legible pretty much every single time. So now you can generate AI infographics, product images, and pretty much whatever you want with text that actually looks right. So now so many doors have been opened for business owners, agencies, freelancers, and marketers. And in this case, we're going to be leveraging the API to automate LinkedIn posts for a client. And so you can just take this automation and generate, say, 10 posts a month for a client. You can charge them between $250 and $1,000 per month for the service, and you can literally sit back and let this automation do all of the work. Easily scalable, and the costs are really marginal. So here's an example of a LinkedIn post that I made using this exact n8n automation. I'd definitely be comfortable posting an infographic of this quality onto a blog post or a timeline. I've also made it super easy for you to make the posts. All you have to do is supply a subject and an audience, and that's pretty much it, you're done. Here's a quick showcase of how the automation works. So we use Telegram to listen for a message sent to a specific bot that we're going to be setting up. So your client or team could simply post a message to this bot, and n8n will listen to this specific command and fire the automation off. So here I'm on Telegram, and as soon as we type in make post, we can see that the automation begins to fire. Firstly, we're reading that information from the Google Sheet, changing the post status from pending to processing. And now we can see it's getting to work in generating the text for the post. As soon as that's done, we make another request to OpenAI's API so as to generate the infographic for the post. And this takes between 30 seconds to a minute to render, so I'll be back as soon as it's done. Now we've got the result from OpenAI, and we've uploaded that image to our Google Drive and correspondingly updated the information for the post with the image and the text. So this is the generated text, and here is a link to the infographic that was generated too. All of the text is legible, there are no artifacts, and it seems like an infographic that you'd see in a professional blog post or timeline. If you set the approval required for each post to be no, then the n8n automation will automatically make the LinkedIn post as soon as it's generated on your behalf onto your timeline or onto your client's timeline. So you can generate these posts and have them go out even whilst you sleep. By the way, if you want access to this entire automation for free, check the link in the description to get instant access through my free Skool community. So we're going to be using n8n to bundle all of the different technologies together. It basically acts like a central hub which orchestrates the entire workflow. If we were to code this from scratch, it'd take a pretty long time since we'd have to handle stuff like authentication, credentials, etc. But n8n abstracts all of that away into a simple and easy to use UI. So you can spin this up for your own business or for your clients within minutes. So we're going to use the Telegram API to kick off the workflow. So n8n is going to be detecting messages sent to a specific bot that we're going to be setting up. As soon as a specific command from that bot has been received, the workflow will begin to kick off. We're also using Google Cloud APIs to store each image file for each post, as well as the information for all of the posts in a Google Sheet. When we give the command to create a post, we pull and update that data from the Google Sheet using the Google Sheets API. And we also use the Google Drive API to be able to write out image generation files to our Google Drive. We use the OpenAI API to generate both the text and the image for the post. We're also using the Tavily API, which allows us to connect the OpenAI model to the web. So we'll be able to search the web on the post subject that we input from our Google Sheet and cite different websites and resources. So that way the text content of our post, those little facts that make up the infographic, they're not made up or hallucinated, they actually come from reliable sources. And finally, we're using the LinkedIn API to create the post onto our LinkedIn account. If the post requires approval, then the automation won't automatically post onto LinkedIn. All of the post information, however, will still just be available in the Google Sheet. So the workflow trigger in this case is on receiving a Telegram message. As soon as a message is sent to our Telegram bot, this automation begins to fire. And in this step, we check to see if the message sent to the bot is the make post command. Anything else will be rejected and the n8n automation will safely stop. As soon as that's verified, we read information from our Google Sheet and we fetch all of the posts whose status is pending. After that, we check to see if the post has an ID. Every post needs to have an ID so as to ensure that we can uniquely look up the post inside of the Google Sheet. And then we also check to see if the subject and the target audience isn't null. This node here is responsible for generating the text for the LinkedIn post. So looking at the instructions, we're telling the agent that its duty is to use Tavily, namely its web research facilities, to gather up-to-date information about the post subject and to write an engaging LinkedIn post. Tavily here is a tool that the agent can choose to use. In its instructions, it must always begin by performing a real-time search using Tavily. It will then perform the search and then, using that information, using the sources that it's gathered. After the text for the post has been generated, we use another agent so as to generate the image generation prompt. And we use that information so as to create a new prompt that we're going to feed into the image generation API so as to create an infographic based on the post contents. Then over here, we're making the post request to the image generation API using the prompt that we just generated from this node. And finally, we convert that into binary format, upload that into our Google Drive, and update the Google Sheet with our post text and the link to the image that we just generated. And depending on whether or not approval is required for the given post, we automatically post onto LinkedIn. To get this working in your own application, you're going to need to create some free accounts and provision some credentials so the workflow can basically talk to various services properly. This is all free, but Google may ask you for your debit or credit card information, though you will not get charged for the purposes of this automation and to the scale that we're building. So just click on the Telegram node, double click on it and click Create New Credential. Then head over to Telegram and create a free account. As soon as you've done that, you'll be presented with a chat screen like this. Then you want to make a new chat with the bot father. Click on this one here. It'd have a verified check so as to make sure that you're talking to the proper account. And then you'll see a bunch of instructions that you can give to the bot father so as to manage your bots. In this case, we're going to be creating a new bot. So we're going to use this new bot command. So type in /new bot. Right, so we're going to create a new bot. Please choose a name for your bot. Let's call this testing bot. And now we have to choose a username. It has to end in the word bot. So this username has to be unique across all other Telegram bots. Let's call it testing n8n _bot. Okay, that username is already taken. Let's say testing n8n 2000 bot. We've got a new bot with the name testing n8n 2000 bot. And over here, we've been given an access token, which will allow n8n to communicate with the Telegram bots API. So to copy that access token, just click on it and then head back to your n8n interface and then paste the access token in there and keep the base URL the same and hit save. And then if you wait a few seconds, you should get connection tested successfully. If it's failed, it might be the case that you've incorrectly copied this key. Instead of highlighting it and copying it, just click the access token and that should copy the token without any white spaces. Next, we want to provision some credentials for Tavily. So head over to Google and click on the first website after entering Tavily into the search bar and click Get Started. Then you'll be asked to make an account for free. You don't have to enter any credit card information and you'll be presented with an API key. Just click to copy that key and then go back to your workflow, double click the Tavily node and then leave all of this information the same except from this authorization token here. So you want it to be bearer and then space and then paste the key that you just copied. Leave everything else the same. We need to provision some credentials for the OpenAI chat model. So double click on the OpenAI node and then just click Create New Credential here. Now we'll be asked to input an API key. So head over to Google and type in OpenAI API. Just register for an account and then you should be presented with a page like this. In the top right, just hit Settings and then on the left you'll see a little button saying API Keys. Just click Create New Secret Key and then we'll name the key as testing n8n key. And we can assign it to a default project and then just create the secret key. Copy the key over to your n8n workflow and leave everything else, including the base URL, the same and hit save. And it should just test that for us. And if everything goes well, the connection should have been tested successfully. So in order to use the new image generation API, we also need to verify our organization. So if you go into General after clicking settings on your OpenAI account, you'll be asked to verify your organization. And so you just need to upload a picture of your identity. It might be a driving license or passport, and it will automatically go through the verification process for your organization. It should take 1 to 2 minutes, and thereafter you should be able to use the image generation API. If you try to make any requests using the image generation API without having verified your organization, you will just flat out get an error and it won't let you proceed. So just make sure that you take 2 minutes to verify your organization. Next, we need to enable the Google Cloud API so we can upload our images to Google Drive. So double click on the Google Drive node and then click Create New Credential. Here we're going to be asked for a client ID and a client secret. So head over to Google and type in Google Cloud Console and click on the first link here. And you'll be asked to make an account and possibly enter your credit card or debit card information. Don't worry about being charged unless you go over the free quota. I'll put the pricing information in the description below. So after having registered, you'll see a page like this. In the top left, open the project picker and just create a new project. Give a name to your project. We'll call it n8n test. And you can assign an organization here if you have one, and then just click create. So now just wait a minute for that to create and select the project. So now the project has been selected and created, we just need to enable the Google Drive API. So type in Google Drive API. And then click the top result and just click enable. That will take a minute or so to enable. And once it's done, I'll be back. So after enabling the API, you'll be redirected to a screen like this. So on the left hand side, the first thing we want to do is click on OAuth consent screen. So now we just need to configure our consent screen. Firstly, type in the name of your app. So for instance, n8n test, and then choose your support email. And you can make this external for now, so as to let any other user sign up to this test. And then for contact information, you can enter one of your email addresses and then just agree to the terms and services after having read that, and then just click create. So on the left hand side, after having created that OAuth credential consent screen, just click on clients, and then on the top click create client. So this might take a minute to load, and as soon as it's done, I'll be back. So now for application type, choose web application. And then just give a name to your client. Let's call it n8n test. And now for the authorized redirect URI, you want to go back to n8n and then copy this redirect URL and then paste it back into that little box there. And then click create. And now we'll be given the client ID and the client secret that n8n is asking for. This basically allows n8n and Google to talk to each other in a safe and secure way. So copy the client ID by clicking this button here, and then go back to n8n and paste it in the client ID box. And then do the same with the client secret. Copy the client secret and then paste it into this box here. Make sure that you don't change the OAuth redirect URL here. One more thing that we need to do is publish the app on Google side. So just go into audience on the left hand side and click publish app. And then click confirm. And then go back to n8n and click the sign in with Google button. Choose the account that you use to create the project with. Because Google has not approved this app yet, you just have to go onto advanced and then go to n8n cloud. And then you'll see the OAuth credential screen here. Select all of the permissions and then click continue. And then you should get the connection successful screen. And then just to confirm, we see account connected with a green box. So that's Google Drive done. Now we need to connect our Google Sheets API. So just double click on the Google Sheets node and then click create new credential. And then just choose sign in with Google under OAuth 2. And then you'll be asked to choose an account. And then click continue. And then connection is successful, account connected. Lastly, what we need to do is connect LinkedIn to n8n. So double click on that node and click create new credential. Then for some reason, every single time I try to connect LinkedIn, it does not work if organization support is toggled on. So toggle that off and make sure you're using standard. Then log in with your LinkedIn credentials, click sign in, and then your connection should be successful. Again, we should get that green box saying account connected. So what's next is creating that Google Sheet with the post information, and it has to be the same account that's being used in these credentials here. So head over to Google Sheets and create a sheet like this. I'll put a template in the description below so you don't have to write this out. And then choose your subject and your target audience. And again, you can create as many posts as you like. Just make sure that this ID column is unique, because this is what we're using as a unique identification for each post. So now it's time to test our automation with n8n. Go back onto Telegram and start a chat with the bot father. And type in the command /mybots. Then choose the bot that we just made. In this case is testing n8n 2000 bot. Just click on that and click edit bot. What we're going to do now is create a command that n8n is going to detect and begin the automation with. So just click edit commands, and now it's asking for a list of commands in this format. So we can see from the automation that we're listening for a command called make post /make post. So that's the exact command that we're going to make post with a description of generates a LinkedIn post. Hit enter. And now the command list for that bot has been updated. Let's start a new chat with the bot. Just click onto this here and click start. So now go back onto n8n and click test workflow on the bottom. So now n8n will begin listening for a Telegram message sent to our bot. So now type in the make post command that we just made, and we can see the automation is successfully executing. So it just pulled in that post from the Google Sheet, set the status to be processing, and now it's generating the text for the post. It just performed a search using Tavily, and it's used that information to create the text for the post. You can see ready to catapult your business past that elusive £1 million milestone. And now it's generated that image from the API, and we've successfully updated that information in the Google Sheet. We've updated the caption, and it's uploaded that image to the Google Drive, and this is the beautiful AI generated infographic that we have. And because we didn't choose to automatically publish to LinkedIn, it failed on this step. So this node evaluated to false in checking whether or not there's approval required, and so it just didn't post to LinkedIn here. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content, and I'll see you in the next one.